All right, this is about how the Italians got it on with the New York car, and the New York car got it on with the New York car in Beaumont, Texas. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. So I'm not going to get into too many names, but I'm going to let you know straight up off the top, you know what I mean, that this one is about, Joey Salvatore Skinny Milano. All right, just so you know. Let's bring the intro in. Let's get this thing popping. All right. Salvatore Skinny Joey Milano, born March 13, 1962, is an Italian-American mobster and reputed boss of the Philadelphia crime family. He rose to power in the mid-90s after he allegedly fought for control of the war in the criminal organization. He has led the crime family in gambling, loan sharking, drug trafficking, extortion, and so on. In comparison to other traditional mob bosses who shunned the limelight, Milano has interacted regularly with the media and the public, often openly providing charity and hosting events to benefit indigent people in Philadelphia, drawing comparisons to the late New York crime boss John Gotti. Just so you understand, so you know what we're dealing with, you know what I mean? The informant in this case was Ralph Nadley. Milano was convicted of several RICO charges, including racketeering, illegal gambling, and extortion in 2002, and sentenced to 14 years in federal prisons. Since his release from prison in 2011, the FBI and the organized crime reports that they believe that he's still running the organization in Philly, but they full of crap, so we ain't even gonna go into that. But let me get into this real quick, all right? We in the Beaumont, right? So now, that's Joey. Joey waged the war, like I said, you know what I mean? He waged the war against the crime families on the street, but this is no disrespect to Joey. This is no. For you trolls and fake haters, this is no disrespect to him. He's 100% man. Because, this is going to sound a little different to y'all because y'all don't understand how it go in the penitentiary. Now, in the penitentiary, you got wolves. You know what I mean? And you don't have your organization behind you, and you don't have your pistol behind you. You don't have your extended clip behind you. You don't have your switches behind you. You just got your heart and your gun, which is just shank. Banky Pound called it the Bethlehem. So whatever title you want to put on it, that's what it is. But anyway, so we in the joint, and it was a Brooklyn homie that was pushing up on him. And this is ironic, and that's why I don't want y'all to take it the wrong way. I'm just reporting facts that went down, and plenty of people already know this because this is public information if you was in a prison. My man from Brooklyn was extorting Joey. You know what I mean? He was putting the press on Joey on the inside. Joey had 14 years. My man had like 14 life sentences, so he had nothing to lose. Joey had a lot to lose. So Joey had to think what he was going to do, how he was going to do it, and how he was going to deal with this, press game that the homie was putting on him. So the homie started putting the press on him. Y'all put in the comments what y'all think about this, because I know everybody's going to be a tough gangster that they wouldn't go for it. So let's get this in the comments. Joey was sitting in, and the homie went up to him and told him straight up, yo, you got to send me X amount of dollars. Here go the Western Union information, So Joey sent the money, to keep the peace down, because he figured he only doing 14 years. What the dude asking for to the Brooklyn homie is a lot. To Joey, it wasn't nothing but crumbs, like morsels off a table. So he figured it'd be easy, just give him the little morsels and let him go about his business. So as he's doing that, dude come back again right after he sent that and told him, yo, I need this also. Because, he got his wolves that's around him, and he's like, oh, man, you got a sweet one. I'm trying to get in on that. So they went to him and gave him another email, another address to send some money to, you know. So he sends the money, you know. So after a while, he gets tired of this, you know. So he goes to the New York, you know, homie that, you know, was running the Queen's car. I ain't gonna say no names, you know, right? He go to the homie that's running the Queen's car, Joe and his people, and he tells them straight up, he's like, yo, your man putting the press on me. I mean, I don't mind giving him a couple of dollars, but I mean, you know, he pushing too hard. We just sent him something. He came back, you know, 2 days right after that and asked for something else. Then the day after that, asked for something else. It's like, yo, he leaning too heavy now. You know what I mean? Because now it feels like an extortion instead of, you know, a soft press. You know, because some people feel better with a soft press than a hard press. I broke down to you what a soft press and a hard press is, so y'all put in the comments if you remember. So dude came and he talking to the Queen's homie, and he tells him like, yo, talk to your man, da da da. So the Queen's homie tells him straight up, he said, look, you know, he not with us, you know, they doing their own thing. They got nothing to do with me and my car, you know. So Joey and them say, oh, so it's all right for us to move on him? Because like I said, Joey's no coward. Let's get that straight. You know what I mean? He's no coward. He's just trying to, you know, maneuver his way through his 14-year sentence. So when dude told him that he ain't got nothing to do with it, Joey went and gave a big Indian dude. Dude was big and brolic, like Bolo, if you ever seen the Chinese movies, like Lou Ferrigno, like one of those big, whatever you call the modern day muscle building dudes that be winning the muscle building contest. That's who he goes to. So Joey goes to him and he gives him a couple of grand and he tell him, yo, I want you to hit the black dude from New York. Because, you know, he already talked to, you know, the Queen's homie and figured that everything was good. That, you know, the Queen's homie said that dude on his own, that it's not going to be a repercussion. Because you got to remember, you know, just to keep it 100 so y'all understand how this thing go in the feds, you got the Italians is maybe 5 of them on the compound. You know what I mean? Every other car got over 100, you know what I mean, on the compound. So they outnumbered. So when dude decided to put the press on him, he figured that we outnumbered. I give him the little crumbs, I keep the peace. Me and my little 5 people stay here and we keep eating pasta and living good. And I just knocked this little 14-year sentence out. So as he's doing that, you know, dude goes to the homie from Queens, and the homie from Queens tell him, y'all, you can do what you want. In prison, that's called a green light. So he green lighted the hit that whatever you do with him, we're not going to get involved, you know? So he pays the big brolic dude, you know, the Indian Native American, pays the big Native American, you know, a couple of grand. He goes up in the cell. They call the Brooklyn homie up in the cell and tell him, yo, we need to holler at you. The Brooklyn homie goes in the cell. When he goes in the cell, as soon as he goes in there, the big dude, he's scared to death, you know what I mean? Because the New York homie, he puts his work in, you know, the Brooklyn homie. Big shout out to Brooklyn. Big shout out to Brooklyn. All right, calm down. So big shout out to Brooklyn. So the Brooklyn homie got him scared to death because they done seen his knife working. He know he about his business. So they call dude in the cell. When dude goes in the cell, the Native American pushes the knife in his chest and stabs him in his chest. The Brooklyn homie so official, he pulled the knife out of his chest and went and chased the big Native American. He chased him down the stairs, but just when he got down the stairs from pulling the knife out, losing the blood, running down the stairs, by the time he got to the bottom of the stairs and he cocked the knife back, he passed out. Boom. So now when he falls out, he didn't get the Native American, you know, but you got all the Italians around, so they saw that a Native American, another race, stabbed a homie. So now everybody gets involved, Brooklyn and Queens and everybody. But mind you, when, you know, Joey went to the Queens homie told me it was all right. You know what I mean? He had the green light. But now nobody else knew about this but the Queens homie. And first of all, we never, gunshots to that. We never greenlight another race doing anything to anybody in our race, period. It don't matter if you from West Bubba Hump, you know what I mean? It don't matter if you from Louisiana, North Carolina, Tennessee, Chicago, California, New York. If it's a race joint, we all back each other as blacks. You know what I mean? And that's the way we come together. So all we saw was a Native American stab a black dude. And we're like, whoa, something ain't right, you know? So, you know, everybody popped off and went to jumping on the Native Americans and the Indians and all this. We out in Beaumont, Texas, just so you understand, you know what I mean? So that's why I tell you youngins, don't go to prison, man, because this is how it works. Dude extorting the dude, you know what I mean? And dude paying the debt. Nobody's eating from it but the dude that's extorting them. But still, when dude decided to retaliate and do something to him, everybody had to get involved. And that's just the way it works, just so you understand. So don't go to prison so you ain't got to get involved in senseless bull crap like this. But anyway, so now they taking the homie out. The homie going out on a stretcher and they locked the big Indian up. So the people, you know, when they hit the deuces, the yard shut down. And see how the units is behind me. Everybody in the units, they know what happened. The yard don't know what happened. They walking the homie by. When they walking the homie by on the stretcher, the homie leads up and he talks in code and he lets them know that it was the Italians. So once he said it was the Italians, all the homies went to pop. Right in the yard, they start jumping on the Italians in the yard. The Italians fighting back, you know what I mean? They open a move, dudes go back in the unit. Every unit start jumping on the Italians. So now it's New York against the Italians because they stabbed one of the New York homies, bottom line. They don't know that it's because of extortion or what it is. It don't matter what it's about. They're still going to roll with them. That's the way it works. So pay attention. I'm giving y'all game that's supposed to be sold, not told. This is a gangsters channel, man. You know what I mean? So let's get this right. Let's get the announcement going on. I'm the red check, not the orange, the red check on the Cash App. Special announcement, man. This is what my Cash App look like. It must have that green checkered box to the right of my name. No picture of me, none of that. This is exactly what my Cash App look like. Once you put in unique Mecca Hall and you get ready to send it, it must have that green checkered box. Let's get this thing going. All right? Now, so that's the way that's going on, so y'all understand what's up. All right? So now, they bring the homie out. The homie lean up on a stretcher, and he's talking to the homies in the yard, letting them know the Italians did this. You know, so now it's an all-out war. You know, the same type of war that, you know, Joey Salvatore, Skinny Joey Moreno, Molino, let me say his name right, you know what I mean? Because he's a straight up man, so you got to get his props. You know, that he was doing on the street is the same thing that he finds himself in the prison, but with the blacks from New York. So now, they go in the unit, and they get to popping off. They stabbing each other. Everybody's stabbing up each other. The Italians stabbing at the black dude. You know, the black dude stabbing the Italians. It's a full-blown, you know, brawl in all the units because right now, it don't matter, you know, if you're Italian, you're going to get it. If you're from New York, you're going to get it. You can't pick a side and say that ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't got nothing to do with it, even though I'm from New York or even though I'm Italian. It don't work that way. So everything went up in smoke. So while they in there, they fighting and they pushing the knives and they carrying on. So they locks them up and they put them in the SHU. So when they go in the SHU, you know, and in matter of fact, right before they went in the SHU, in Joey's unit, Joey told, you know, the homies that was coming at the Italians, say, hold on, I checked with your homie. Your homie said it was all right that he wasn't a part of you. But dudes kept pushing it like the homie said. So now they furious that he even threw the homie name in it. So they lock everybody up, everybody going to SHU. The homies talking to the Italians, and the Italians is letting them know that Joey went through protocol. He went and hollered at New York call. He told them what time it was. Dude was putting the press on him. It was leaning a little too hard. He didn't mind giving him the little crumbs that he was giving him. But then now he kept coming and coming and coming. And, you know, dude decided to fight back, even though their numbers wasn't strong enough. Because like I said, it's only like a handful of them in the prison. So being that this joint jumped off, you know, he had to make sure that, you know, he wasn't walking into a slaughter. You know what I mean? Me and myself, my dumb ass, I would have walked in the slaughter. I don't care if it's 5 of us or whatever, because I'm going to move by myself. And whoever out the other 4 want to move, going to move. If they don't move, I'm not mad at nobody. That's just me. But Joey wanted to go through the protocol. So he did the protocol and hollered at what he thought was the chain of command. So now when it comes out in the SHU, all the Brooklyn dudes is mad that the Queens dude gave a green light for an Italian to stab a Brooklyn dude. How you gonna do something from Brooklyn and not get punished? Big shout out again to Brooklyn. Big shout out. Calm down, relax. So, you know what I mean? And I gotta give a gunshot. Gotta give 3 gunshots. Gotta give 3 gunshot salute to Brooklyn. You know, because Brooklyn kept it 100. So now Brooklyn got in their body like, nah, Queens dude can't do that. Can't nobody do that. You know what I mean? It's a Brooklyn homie. So now when they do that, now Brooklyn and Queens get in it. You know, because the Queens dude, he had a lot of power and he had a lot of people around him because he getting the pack, he making sure everybody eating on the compound and everybody selling dope, going to the commissary, doing what they got to do. Da-da-da-da. Like I said, no names mentioned, so you fake-ass troll niggas to your face. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about you trolls. Now, let's go. You know, I hate you as much as I hate, I'm going to say it again, niggas that wear flip-flops in public. Stop the flip-flops in public. Stop the flip-flops in public. Now, so it became a war with Brooklyn and Queens brothers, you know, over this, you know, extortion move on Joey Milano, you know. But like I said, for the record, Joey is no coward. Let's get that right. So you fake trolls and dudes in the comments thinking you'll do something different. What you gonna do when you got 100 black dudes with knives that just came off the street, off the crack era, that's pushing up on you and it's only 5 of you? You know, I seen the biggest dudes. I might even tell you that story later. If you want to know about that story, put in the comment. I seen a dude from New York that was a cold gangster on the street and was a gangster in the penitentiary. But he wound up out in Victorville, California. And when he got in Victorville, California, it was only, you know, him and, you know, the 20, 30 New York dudes was there and he was hot. You know what I mean? Yeah, a rat. You know what I mean? So when he got there, the New York dudes told him, nah, they might have allowed you to live in the other jail, but we not allowing you to live here with us because we have no rats amongst us because we have no cheese to feed you. So he told him, either you go up top and shake that gate willingly, or we're going to stab you up and airlift you out of here. You know? So homeboy agreed to go up willingly. And then dude said, nah, we got to put some holes in and make a statement that we're not taking that in Victorville Penitentiary Yard in California with the New York car. So they went to chasing him to stab him. And you got this big dude, 6'6", 320 pounds, black belt. He running up the compound. I ain't got to say no names. If you're official, you know who I'm talking about. If you're not official, you don't know, don't even trip. Just enjoy the ride. Because that's all I'm doing is riding. So now, he shoots in the joint and he runs up to the lieutenant office to go check in with a handful of dudes chasing him with their big ass swords behind him. So he goes and check in. Let me go back to Joey Milano. So now we in the hole and Brooklyn and Queens is going at it. They going at it hard. You know what I mean? It's like they start letting a few of them out after they whittle out what was going down. And as they let them out, now, you know, it's mad tension. And they're stabbing each other every chance they get. Then they let out one of the homies, you know, from Queens that was like, you know, God. You know what I mean? When it come to pushing that knife in the prison system. You know what I mean? He's God when it come to pushing that knife. Drama, extortion, robbery. He's doing all of that in the prison. That's what he did on the street. There ain't nothing changed. But now when he come out the hole, he been in the hole 6 months, so he come out and he feel it was wrong that went down, so he trying to talk for his homie. So while he's trying to talk for his homie, you know what I mean, that caught the shot, the other Brooklyn dudes, because he from Queens, the other Brooklyn dudes peek what's going on. So when they peek what's going on, they like, nah, you know what I mean? This, you know, Muhammad 3X said not to use the N-word, so I'm not going to use it. Big shout out to Muhammad 3X. Relax. So we're going to say this trigger. That's what we're going to call him from now on. So, you know, this trigger ain't about, he's nothing nice. So every time they see this trigger, they like, nah, hold up. You know, he pushes knife, he's aggressive. You know what I mean? He's robbing, he's extorting. So when he come out the hole and he's holding down the Queens homie that sanctioned the hit, he's like, nah. They went and they sent a couple of hitters over there to go get at him. You know what I mean? They couldn't send one because he would have came back in a body bag. So they sent a couple of hitters over there to go get at him. But the Queens homie that came out, you know, the gorilla, he's trying to talk, you know, peace with them. But they're not expecting that to come out of his mouth because it's always aggression and violence. So they went right to put a move on him because they think that, he bucking and he talking strong. So they went to going at it, and they had a night fight in the yard, and brother lost his life in the yard. Just so you see how serious it is. All this true story. I ain't got to say no names. You know what I mean? The brothers that don't know, the fake niggas, the fake triggers that don't know, y'all go ahead and put in the comments and y'all guess. But, I leave the names out. I just wanted to give the message to the youth so they understand that even a big mafia boss, or alleged mafia boss, like, Joey Salvatore, Skinny Joey Moreno, you know what I mean? Could have issues in the prison. Could be extorted. Could be put in a situation to have to kill or be killed. The man at 14 years decided to let it ride. Y'all put in the comments what y'all would do. You got 14 years, dude extorting you, telling him he wants you to send your money to his family. You know what I mean? Or, he gonna stab you, you're gonna have to stab him, and you're gonna run your time up. Would you spend the money? Or would you fight? So you fake gangsters, this is your chance to talk. All right? So now they come out and, the homie lost his life in the battle. He wound up getting stabbed in the chest, and fell out and died in the middle of the Beaumont Penitentiary yard. All this true story. I know this sounds crazy to you. Or, as a matter of fact, reach out. Let me see. Reach out to Irv Gotti and them and let them know that them little joints they doing, I like it. They entertaining. What they call that joint that they had on BET, Tales from the Hood or something. You know what I mean? Tell them to get with me and we're going to put together something with a penitentiary. You know what I mean? So they understand how real this is. So one of the homies lost his life in the yard doing this struggle, by another one of the homies. You understand? And all that was behind, him extorting, alleged mob boss Joey Moreno. So I'm not going to be here much longer because I want to keep it to the point because I know we're going to have the trolls and the haters trying to say something. I just want to know what it is. But I want to say this, man. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of Italians in the prison system, especially in the penitentiary, because most of them go to the lower security. But when they get in the pen, they outnumbered. You know what I mean? So, yes, I'm saying it for the record. It's not to disrespect them. They pay like they weigh. You know what I mean? They pay like they weigh. I just jumped out the shop, seeing a little ass on my wrist. Let me get this thing right. You know what I mean? Yeah, all right. So now they pay like they weigh. That's what we call it in prison. You understand? I mean, I'm gonna tell y'all one about the Lewisburg prison system. Where I ran a phone where after 8 o'clock, dudes had to pay me a carton of cigarettes. You know what I mean? That cost $20. It's like $15, $20 for a carton at the time. But dudes had to pay me a carton of cigarettes after 8 o'clock to use the phone 15 minutes. So all you tough guys say, yeah, I wouldn't pay that little black old ass man no goddamn, carton of cigarettes to use the phone. You know what I mean? Well, let's just thank you, thank God that you wasn't in the system when I was in the system, or you don't go in the system now because you still have uniques in the system. So that's what it is. But, this one is about, alleged mob boss Joey Moreno. I just wanted to tap in and let you know that. But I'm going to say this about John Gotti. John Gotti grew up in East New York, man. He was straight New Yorker, and he wasn't going for nothing. You know what I mean? And that's why they put him in Marion. But I'm getting ready to tap out. Let me close out with this joint real quick because I just wanted to get this up to y'all this morning. Oh, and happy Memorial Day. Memorial Day, that I'm celebrating is not, only, for the soldiers that fought for this country, because we definitely celebrate them. A round of applause to the soldiers that fought for this country. All right. Relax, y'all. Okay, but Memorial Day to me is for the fallen soldiers that we lost. You know what I mean? John Gotti. You understand what I'm saying? My brother Peter, a.k.a. Khalif. My brother Tom Slaughter. My brother Jay from D.C. You understand what I'm saying? And, brother Jimmy Fingers that got 6 life sentences in 300 years. Brother Ahmed that got 3 life sentences. These is our fallen soldiers that was involved in the war on drugs, And our other fallen soldiers from the next generation after is, our gangbangers. You know what I mean? You know, so I want to say, you know, a rest in peace and, you know, celebrating, and I know y'all ain't gonna like it, but I'm gonna keep it 100, man, because, you know, I already know what it's hitting on. You know, King Von, you know, FBG Duck, Tuka, you know what I mean? You know, the brothers that lost them, they lives in the war on the street with the gangs. The brothers that lost, you know, and that went to prison for the gangs. And the brothers that lost their life for, you know, for selling crack cocaine during the crack era that's still on the inside. You know, that's our Memorial Day. Keep that in mind. Remember, I'm the first one to tell you all that. You know what I mean? Because this is a war out here. And I'm letting y'all know ain't nothing sweet because they don't try and tell you the truth, keep the truth from you, hide it, and play those little games. I don't play those games. I give it to you raw 100. You know what I mean? I hope the mic is working right. I'm going to tap out, man. All right? So let me get this outro. Bang.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be whoring uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the road men.